Buddy Aaron with Guns and Stuff. Today I have a new holster to show you guys. So with the weather getting colder, I've been wanting to either upgrade my carry gun and get something larger like a Glock 19 to carry, or potentially carry an extra mag, but I usually haven't been a huge fan of that. I've had a couple holsters that allowed me to carry an extra mag, and then I've had like magazine carriers, you know what I mean? And usually I just end up throwing it in my pocket or just not carrying the extra mag in general. But Gerber Holsters sent me out their Sidekick-Helix holster. So as you can see, this holster allows me to carry an extra magazine. Now, the biggest thing that I've noticed compared to this holster to other ones that allow you to carry an extra mag is the fact that this piece right here is flexible. On the back, they have a nice leather pad that's kind of bolted in or screwed in, and this allows for this to flex. Now, you might not think that's a big deal, but unless you've carried a holster like this to where this is fixed, it kind of is, because let me show you, for example. So for example, this was my first holster that had an experience with an extra magazine attached to it. And the biggest issue I had with it is there is literally no flex. It is one piece of Kydex that is molded. And the issue I had is when I would carry it, there'd be a huge gap and you could like straight up see down my pants. I was not a fan of that. And it was just blatantly uncomfortable. So when he sent me this to try out, I was extremely excited. If you've seen some of my other previous videos, I'm pretty picky when it comes to a good holster, to be honest. And this thing is sturdy. It's a nice quality Kydex material. The Kydex is what, 0.080 inch thick, but it doesn't feel cheap. And I'll show you a couple other holsters I have and kind of like compare them or give a side by side. But yeah, so let's do some shooting with this. I'm going to talk about it. My friend Chase is going to talk about it. And this is just my first impressions. Lost. All right, so I'm still learning. I never claimed to be an expert, but what happened is when I was coming up to take out the next mag, I didn't pull my shirt out all the way, so I pulled the mag up in my shirt. It got lost, and yeah, it's a process. Okay, guys, chill out. So usually when I'm carrying, I want the smallest package possible. That's why I carry with a flush mag. I usually carry with a smaller holster that's easy in and out. But again, like I'm saying, with the weather changing, being able to wear baggier clothes, I can get away with carrying more. So I think this is definitely going to be part of my everyday carry. One thing is the size. I'm kind of going to address it. So at first, I'm not a huge 2-clip person because when I carry appendix, it's kind of annoying. Like if you go to the bathroom in public, even with a 1-clipped Kydex holster, you're like in the stall and you're kind of hiding it or whatever. With this, it's even different. You have to like unclip it from your belt, move it out of the way, you know what I mean? That's just like one thing I've noticed. I'm sure you guys have noticed too. But, so when I put this in, it's really not that bad. Goes right here, clip it over this part of my belt. This is just the standard clips. This comes, clips over that part of my belt, and there we go. All right, so I don't think it prints that bad for the size that it is. Now, one thing is too that's pretty cool is it has this attachment right here on it. Oops, let me pull this out right here. This is just like a claw that they have on other holsters. And the point of it is to push the grip of the gun tighter to your body and your pant line out. Huge fan of this with other holsters I have. So I definitely like that that's on here. I'll take my jacket off. You could do another pan over and see. But like, I mean, it's really, I don't think it's that noticeable. Maybe it's just me because I'm looking down. I'm not looking at it from a side view. But yeah, there's a little bit of printing, but it's not a whole lot. And with the SIG and the extra mag, I'm carrying 24 rounds, right? So that's pretty cool to me. All right, so what I'm gonna do is my friend Chase is gonna come in and explain to you what he looks for in a holster. And Chase is new to the concealed carry market, and it's hard for me to remember what I looked for when I first started carrying, because it's just kind of been like this whole process of like where I am now. So he's gonna explain it. He's gonna give his first impressions of this Gerber holster. And yeah, so let's see what he has to say.
So hi, my name's Chase. When I first started shopping for holsters, I didn't really know exactly what I should be looking for. But after thinking about it and talking with Aaron a little bit, there are like 3 things that I really narrowed it down to the specs that I wanted for a holster. So for one, something that's not ridiculously overpriced, so something reasonably priced. 2, I had planned to carry appendix carry, so something that would be great for that. And then 3, something that's a nice material, something that's not too crappy where it's gonna fail me, something that's just really nice and comfortable. All right, so my first impressions of this holster. So when I first put this thing on, you look at it and you say like, oh man, this thing's really big. And when you first put it on, it does feel like, oh, I'm carrying a lot right now. However, after shooting with a little bit at the range here, it really doesn't feel like I'm carrying that much at all. There's really not a whole lot of difference between having something to carry a magazine and just having a normal inside the waistband holster. This thing is super light, it's super thin, and also the bend in the middle really just forms like it should to your body, so it's extremely comfortable.
So with appendix carrying, one of the big drawbacks is sitting down and it's uncomfortable. So I was thinking like, well, this holster is a pretty beefy size, right? I mean, not really, but it kind of is compared to what I usually use. Is it extremely uncomfortable to sit in? And what I've noticed over the past month, that it's really not that uncomfortable. So I usually just get in, sit down like completely normal, and keep in mind, this is because I do have a smaller gun. The 365 is pretty small, but like I can comfortably drive like this and it's not pinching into my waist like I have had other holsters do. And then people are gonna be like, oh, the gun's pointed right at your junk. Whatever, that's appendix carrying, get used to it. Let's see. But yeah, getting in and out of the car, it's easy. And I just leave it in, whereas my other holsters, I usually take it on and off, but this one is not uncomfortable and there's not like a bend. I'm fine, it's not pinching my hips. I can bend over, whatever, it's fine. One of the things I enjoy doing when I have a new holster is running with it. If you've seen that in any of my previous videos, I do that a lot. And I do that for the purpose of making sure that the firearm stays where it's supposed to, it doesn't move. And in this case, I wanna make sure that the firearm stays where it's supposed to and the magazine stays where it's supposed to. I do wanna say I'm not running with one in the chamber just because I'm not at the firing line. And also, the retention on the handgun and the magazine is good. I'm really not worried about it, but I also haven't ran with it, so I wanna know how that feels. It was a little awkward to run with because it's like hitting me, but everything stayed where it was supposed to. Obviously the clips did their job because it's clipped to my freaking belt. So yeah. One of the better staying in place holsters, and obviously that's just because it has 2 clips compared to 1 or none. So Chase is gonna do it. We'll see what he thinks.
So,
First time running with a holster, right?
yeah,
How'd that feel?
like you said, just a little awkward because you're normally not running with something right there, but everything stayed where it should have been, so no issues.
So one thing I do want to say is that I like a holster that I can wear with athletic clothes, because I wear athletic clothes probably 80% of the time, to be honest. So with these 2 clips, it does have like a nice kind of, it still pinches the piece of clothing. So when I draw, I don't even have to worry about it. Like the gun comes out nice and smooth and there's still good retention on this holster. So that's something to keep in mind. And the holsters, I mean, obviously with the handgun loaded and an extra 12-round magazine, you'd think there'd be a lot of weight, but like it's really not that heavy and it doesn't pull my pants down. So I'm just gonna do a couple more draws. All right, so a couple things that were concerns for me in the beginning, but aren't anymore. The first one would have been the size of it, just the sheer size. I mean, this is a big holster, but the fact that it came with this leather piece that allows this to move and kind of form to my body, huge pro. Like, I don't know why this is just now becoming a thing. Like I said, I got that old holster before and I did not like it. So this blows that out of the water. The second thing I was kind of worried about, I mean, and it still pertains to size really, was just the fact that it would just be uncomfortable, because I'm not a big 2-clip person, because it takes a little bit more time to put on, a little more time to take off. But if I'm wearing it throughout the entire day, then it's perfectly fine. So like when I'm going to work, I wear it. When I'm like going out, I'm wearing it. I wear it in instances when I don't have to continuously take my holster on and off, or my gun on and off my person. So big pro, because it is pretty comfortable regardless of the size. The quality is like way better than a lot of holsters I've had. I'm not gonna name this holster. I mean, it is what it is, but this Kydex is like, it's like flimsy and it feels cheap, okay? If I'm spending money on something, I want it to feel quality. And this feels like really good quality, okay? Again, it has this little piece on here, which would be like a claw, or this attachment just in general that pushes your pant line away so the grip of the gun is tighter to your body for a more fitting draw. Everything is unloaded, but it has good retention. The trigger is completely covered. This holster by Gerber is pure quality. And if I didn't mention before, I'm gonna mention it now. Everything is handcrafted and it's like completely customizable. So for people that compete or everyday carry or want like a duty holster, you can set up one of these holsters any way you want to. You can set it up with like raised suppressor sights. You can set it up for threaded barrels. You can change the color patterns, like literally everything. You can customize it to how you want it and he will make it for you. So Gerber Holsters, check them out on Instagram. He has like some crazy stuff that he's made and it is badass. Like it is freaking cool. So thank you guys for watching the video. I'll put a link to this in there. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I will answer it and I'll see you guys in the next video.